Welcome, nerds, to the comic books and book news for the week. This is where we talk about all things comic books and literature related. So if there's a new book coming out, we're not going to get into individual arcs necessarily, unless there's some sort of like major publisher-wide effects that are going to be related to said arc. We don't really get into individual arcs or individual issues. We just talk about the broader news at large. So without any further ado, let's talk about some comic books and possibly some books as well. Now let's talk about comic books and books. In this section, we have a really random announcement for a new book from acclaimed and very famous movie director Francis Ford Coppola. That's a thing that's going down. A little bit of an update on the Summer of Symbiotes. I think we've talked about this previously, but I don't remember exactly, so I don't think I put it in the follow-up section. And also a new What If book coming from Marvel. We're going to get into that and a little bit more. So let's jump into the things. First off, no follow-ups or corrections really to speak of, because again, not sure if we've actually talked about the Summer of Symbiotes situation. So let's jump into regular ass news. No trailers or anything either. First thing in regular ass news, Francis Ford Coppola is putting out a new movie called Megalopolis. It's going to be a science fiction movie, which I don't know if I've ever actually seen anything from Ford Coppola that is science fiction, so I'm very intrigued by that idea. But we are in the comic books and books section right now, and that means there's also a comic book coming from this. Ford Coppola, I could not decipher exactly how involved he's going to be with the comic book, but he is going to be rather involved with the movie, obviously. So hopefully that means something incredible for the comic book as well. The book is going to be coming from Image Comics. It does appear that Chris Ryall, who is a former IDW publisher, currently works with, what is the name of his imprint? New Spotlight for the Syzygy, I think is how that is pronounced, imprint that he runs, but it's all part of Image. And the artist on this is going to be Jacob Phillips. So again, can't really see exactly how involved Francis Ford Coppola is going to be with the comic book, because Ryall is going to be the one writing the book, but it's going to be based on Coppola's work. And I mean, it was said in the announcement that he's going to be involved, but to what degree very much remains to be seen. So that's what we got on that one. Next, we're talking about Marvel's Summer of Symbiotes announcement with I believe this is the 30th anniversary of the creation as far as actual comic book, meta is concerned for Venom. So in celebrate, oh no, I'm sorry, 35th. I'm that old. Marvel's Summer of Symbiotes is a celebration of the 35th anniversary of Venom. They will feature a number of ongoing series. I mean, I wish I could have written them all down, but I didn't. The main one, though, is going to be the culmination in Death of the Venomverse, in which Carnage heads into the multiverse for his greatest killing spree yet. It sounds pretty Venom and specifically Carnage, but the two together is really the most I got into Spider-Man. So I'm actually pretty stoked about this, I'm not gonna lie. And then on our next piece, we are talking about a new book from Marvel, and that is What If Dark. So the What If series, I guess, is kind of multiversal in its nature, in that it's positing a question: what if this minor thing was different in the Marvel universe? And then they write a one-off issue, or maybe a few issues sometimes, about that idea. But generally speaking, there haven't been any overly dark stories told in that. Well, this new What If Dark book is going to be very specifically dark. We're talking like the death of Gwen Stacy, or the death of Peter Parker's Spider-Man instead of Gwen Stacy, and how that changes things, and just really, really interesting. The first book is specifically going to be that Gwen Stacy story. It's coming out in July. No specific date, but again, probably the first week, because that's usually how it goes when they talk about the month. It's going to be released in July. That means it's going to be available the entire month of July, generally speaking. Anyway, yeah, just sounds pretty cool. probably check it out. And that's what we got for regular ass news. It's what we got for basically the comic books and books section. So, book suggestion for the week. We're talking a little bit more Anne Rice this time around. Memnoch the Devil. My favorite, because I still haven't read the last two Lestat books, but my favorite of the Vampire Chronicles books is Memnoch the Devil. Just, I think, Anne Rice was in her stride when this book came out. 1995 was a great year for her. It could be a little bit of nostalgia glasses on my part because this was the first Vampire Chronicles book that I read, and then I went back to the beginning and caught myself up. But either way, it's quality stuff. You owe it to yourself. Go check out Memnoch the Devil. Real quick, the brief on Memnoch the Devil. 5th book in the Vampire Chronicles series following the tale of the body thief. In Memnoch, Lestat is approached by the actual devil and is offered a job at his side, which is intriguing to say the least, no? Once again, nerds, that was a short section that comes from a longer video on the main channel, Generally Nerdy, YouTube or Rumble. Take your pick, I'm on both. You can go find it there. You can go find all of the other news there as well, including the live episode. We do a live episode roughly once a week, every Friday evening. You can join the conversation live, or you can just leave comments here on this one or any of the other ones you find on the Clips channel. Thank you very much, nerds. We've got other news to discuss in other videos, but while we're getting out of here, don't forget that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.